TOFS is a national charity offering non-medical support for children and adults born with TOF and OA. TOFS is run by trustees, all of whom are volunteers, all of whom are parents of TOFS or grandparents of TOFS or adult TOFS. We have a small office which is run by 2 part-time members of staff, and we rely on members donating and their fundraising because we receive no public funding.
The condition of esophageal atresia is where babies are born with an interruption in their esophagus or gullet, which is the tube that runs through the chest that children swallow through. In most children, what happens is that the upper part of the esophagus is completely blocked, so there's no passageway for any food or drink to travel down into the stomach. And in most children, that's associated with the lower part of the esophagus being abnormally connected to the windpipe or the airway that allows gas to travel into the intestine. And that part of the abnormality is called a Tracheo-Oesophageal Fistula, or TOF, and that's where TOF comes from.
Well, we have a TOFS website, first of all, which is a really valuable resource. There are leaflets and articles that you can download or just read on any aspect of the TOF condition. There's a community forum which is very useful because it's got strands of information going back over 6 years, 7 years. Anybody wanting instant support and to be able to share their problems with TOF families who understand. We have a variety of leaflets on the TOF condition. We have Chew magazine, which comes out 3 times a year with useful articles and member stories. And we have the TOF book, which covers everything, the surgical aspects and the living day-to-day basis with a TOF child. TOFS organises national conferences every 1 or 2 years that members can attend, and they really are a wonderful day for parents to be part of, to meet other people, to learn more, and they usually enjoy it very, very much. We also have TOFS children's parties, and there might be several of those up and down the country every year where people can just get together, children have entertainment, and members can meet and discuss individual problems and share things, and joys as well. TOFS is very fortunate because we get a huge amount of support from leading medics. They talk at our conferences, they help us write our leaflets, they write our TOF child book.
The condition itself is a condition that we can treat very successfully, and we've shown decade on decade that the outlook for babies born with esophageal atresia and TOF is getting better all the time. Nevertheless, there is a long-term issue about children with this condition and their ability to swallow and swallow well. And so from our perspective, we know that we need to see and monitor and help families through the outpatient department. But there's an awful lot more help that needs to be provided for families to be able to look after their children and support them through the normal natural milestones, going to school, etc. And I see the TOFS Society as being a very important way of being able to support families through all of those important milestones, providing collective information and collective support for each other, as well as the help and support that we look to provide within the hospital.
Well, my son was born in Bury St Edmunds at West Suffolk, and he was diagnosed with TOFS about 24 hours after he was born. And about 12 hours after that, he was transferred to Addenbrooke's to have his surgery. And the consultant at Addenbrooke's sat us down and talked through the whole condition. And he told us, didn't actually tell us about the support group, but he gave us a book that they produced called The TOF Child.
The support from TOFS is very, very important. If you can imagine having a newborn baby, it's so emotional, and to know that they're going to have to go through such major surgery, you do feel alone. And to have that support from TOFS, knowing that other people have actually gone through what you have actually gone through, and meeting up with people and talking to them for any kind of supports whatsoever, it's just amazing, it's invaluable.
We didn't know anybody else with the condition. We hadn't heard of it before. Our GP didn't really know anything about it, although she'd obviously knew in theory. She'd never actually treated anyone with it. And Addenbrooke's have a great team, but we only saw them probably once a year, and they're a good hour away and not available on the phone really. So it was a godsend for us to have all of that there and just be able to ring them up or go on the website and actually talk to other parents who'd had the same experience. That was the biggest help of all.
It's not just being born, having a baby born with such a condition. It's a baby's milestones. It goes from weaning, from day-to-day activities, night times, sleeping, walking, talking, sometimes it's affected. And I also think when they start school, you're talking about childcare, you're talking about preschool, first school, junior school, it can still affect. And many parents do actually, and myself has actually got a lot out of TOFS with that support in those areas.
And they have a Facebook page. There's always lots of new parents of TOF children on there asking questions, and I always point them in the direction of the website and tell them about the contact with other parents, because I think they're the only ones really who know everything there is to know about the condition.
Being a parent of a TOFS child can be so overwhelming, and I'm just so glad that I took that first leap into joining the TOFS charity. It's helped me immensely.
Toby's doing really well. He's 11 now. He's in his first year at high school and loving it. He plays football, loads of sport, does anything a normal 11-year-old boy does, and he eats pretty much anything within reason. But in the early days, that seemed like an awful long way off, and I don't think we'd have got where we are without the support of TOFS actually through those times.
TOF children can grow up to lead happy, healthy lives. But while TOF children continue to be born, TOF babies continue to be born, TOFS will always be there for them because we know what that feels like. TOFS will be there for their families for as long as they need.